Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is self-respect. Before we get into it, please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. So, self-respect, self-confidence, self-regard, self-love, all of those boil down to self-respect. But in this particular video, when I speak of self-respect, I'm thinking of self-respect pertaining to relationships. And in our everyday life, whether we're at school, whether we're at work, whether we're interacting with family, friends, children, husband, whoever we interact with in life, um, self-respect is vital. Self-love, not conceitedness, not in consideration for others, but you have to learn to consider yourself as well. I understand that as human beings, we are self-centered by nature. But even if one is self-centered, doesn't mean that he or she has self-respect for oneself. Okay, so when it comes to, first we're going to talk about different types of relationships. The first, I'm going to say, even in a friendship, if you have a friend and it could be your best friend, it can't be one-sided. Everything has to be a give and a take. Sometimes we do what you want to do, sometimes we do what I want to do, sometimes we just, most of the times we may agree on something that we both do. And I understand that some people bend more than others, but when there's a lack of self-respect, you're always the one bending. Now, I understand being lenient and somebody who just goes with the flow. That's fine. And that might just be your character to just go with the flow. It's not that big of a deal. But sometimes even in that, someone else, because of their own mind or their mindset or their heart, the way that they're set up, they may be thinking that they're getting over on you. Meanwhile, you're just letting it go or going with the flow because that's just who you are. But in their minds, they could be thinking that they're one upping you, or they're getting over on you somehow, or you're bending to their will. So, for the point of this video, the reason why I wanted to make a video on self-respect is because, or even self-love, however you want to word it, I wanted to talk about different types of relationships and how lots of times we may not be putting ourselves first in such a way. When I say put ourselves first, I'm not meaning just to disregard or to be inconsiderate of others, but to consider ourselves in the equation, to consider ourselves in any given situation. Okay, so let's start with relationships. A relationship between a man and a woman, or whoever your partner is, or significant other, whatever that relationship may be. So, sometimes in a relationship, you know, we all, before a person finds that life partner or finds their husband or wife that they plan on being with for the rest of growing old with, or, we meet people, whether, in high school, in college, or throughout life, or wherever we may meet, people that we like and we start to date. And in those type of relationships, sometimes people can get very bitter. People can get bitter in these type of relationships due to the fact that they are in a relationship with someone. They may even fall in love with this person, and this person turns out to end up misusing them, abusing them, taking them for granted, and things of not appreciating them and things of that nature. And then they become bitter, and then they want to, now they're mad at the world. Now they're mad at everybody of that sex, or whatever, or, they start to lump everybody in the same category because of what one or two people may have done to them. When in reality, matter of fact, I'm going to change the name to this video. I want this video, it's going to be changed to bitterness, better or bitter. Bitter or better. The things that happen to us in life will either make us better or it will make us bitter. And when I say that, I'm talking about the harsh things that happen to us: being misused, being abused, being spitefully used, being taken advantage of, not being appreciated. Things of those natures can hurt people. I mean, being neglected, it alters you. It does something to you. You cannot go through things like that and just be the same as you always was. So it will either make you better or it will make you bitter, especially when we're talking about a relationship with anyone, whether it be with our parents, because lots of times kids suffer. People say to kids, stay in the kids' place. You know what? A lot of people who are adults now, they went through things as children. And most people are hurt either in their childhood or in their youth. That is the time in our lives when we're very vulnerable, very impressionable. We need love, we need relationship, we need security, we need protection, we need all those things. And the things life is a journey, and the things that happen to us in our life, even if from a young age, all of it works together to mold us to the person into whom we become. And some things that happen along the way will either make us better or they will make us bitter. And normally those are the things that hurt us, the things that have affected us in a negative way, whether it was an abandonment issue, maybe a parent left, maybe a divorce happened, or maybe the parents weren't married, and that, where's my daddy at, or where's mommy at, or maybe you did have a parent that was there, but the parent was so busy living their life, for whatever reason. You have young people who have had children at young ages, and the children were growing with them, and maybe they had their own parents who was helping them along the way with their children, and maybe they were still, it's not that they didn't love the kid, but they were still immature themselves. So maybe they were still trying to find themselves. Maybe they were hanging out or partying all the time, and or maybe there was on the opposite side of the spectrum, maybe there was a person that they were well established. Maybe the mother and father had already finished college or was an entrepreneur or whatever their situation was before they had their children. And maybe they worked all the time, and so they may have given them materialistic things, and they provided shelter, food, and clothing for them, and they weren't wanting for anything in that area. But in the same token, they was lacking that security. That there's different types of security. There's a security that when I need you, you're there. There's that type of security is more than financial security. Security can mean, just when I need you in that moment, you are there. And I understand that you can't always be with somebody all the time. We understand that. We get that. But the point is, one person may be thinking that they're doing good or they're doing right or they're doing all the right things, but still you could be giving somebody what you think they should have, but it may not be, it might be some of the things that they need, but you could be thinking you're giving somebody something and thinking you're doing such a great job, but you still could be lacking. Don't give it, and this goes in all different types of relationships, even in a marriage, in a partnership. You thinking you're giving somebody something, but you got to give a person what they need, not what you want them to have or what you think they should need. That's why communication is so very important. But for this video, I'm gonna talk about a relationship as far as a partnership or a marriage or what have you. Now, when people, beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I would say men and women both, we understand that there has to be some type of physical attraction to even, be interested in a person. They have to get your attention somehow. Unless maybe you was friends with somebody, maybe you and somebody was friends, or y'all hung out a lot, or maybe y'all went to school together, and it could have been somebody in a group, and y'all might have been study partners or something like that, and you get to know somebody and y'all just grow into a relationship, maybe from a friendship. And y'all just start, liking each other in a different type of way, which is kind of cool, because at least with that, the person, they already y'all have a friendship, y'all have a bond, they respect you, all of that. That's wonderful. But then you have, you just meet somebody, whether it's in a supermarket. Nowadays they got these date lines and things like that on the apps and things. You're meeting somebody. What are you going by? You're going by the way a person looks. We all know that looks are deceiving. Nobody here is a fool. We all know that just because somebody looks good, or they might have a pretty face or a handsome face, does not make them a good person. And no disrespect, if a person was not aware of that, I do apologize. Just because somebody is pretty, or somebody is handsome, or you even think somebody is beautiful to the eye, that doesn't mean they have a good countenance. That doesn't mean that they have a good demeanor. That doesn't mean they have a good heart. That doesn't mean they have your best interest at heart. That doesn't mean that they're kind. It doesn't mean that they're generous. It doesn't mean that they're a giver. That doesn't mean nothing. All it means is that they have a pretty face or a handsome face, or maybe they dress nice. That don't define the man or the woman. Those are insignificant. I mean, I'm not going to say they're totally insignificant, but they're superficial. At the core of things, they're superficial. I mean, that's icing on a very good, moist cake. When I go to purchase something, the first thing I look at is the expiration. Just because the cake look good, if you cut it and it's all stale and hard, I don't want that. So looks can be deceiving. But then people, they get what they make their choice. They're picking somebody. No, I understand. Okay, so that's what lures you in. That they look okay. That lures you in. That's fine. But there's some people that their mind stays on that. Well, he's a handsome man, or she's a nice looking woman. Yeah, I want me a 9. I want a 10. This and that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with wanting something. But then you got to vet this person. Who is she at her core? What is her core values? What is his core values? What do they stand for? For me, the most important thing, this is for me, like everybody has their own thing. Can they even carry an intelligent conversation? But to each his own. Somebody might not want nobody to talk. Somebody just might want somebody to sit pretty and maybe be able to. Never mind. I got to remember that I apologize. A thought came to my mind. You can't say everything that comes to mind. But some people don't care about that. They're just happy to have a trophy wife or a trophy husband. Somebody maybe handsome or pretty to lay down with or something. Or maybe to one up a friend or something. In the long run, to be honest with you, you got an empty bag. You got a nice presentation or whatever, but once you open up the box, it's empty. So what happens is people get in these type of relationships, and the person doesn't respect them. Sometimes you can get in a relationship with somebody who maybe look nice on the outside, but inwardly there's something totally different. Because remember, what happens is, I noticed something recently, and that's the reason. I thought of one thing, and I'm not gonna lie, my mind went to something else, and I just wanted to speak on something. People, they get in a relationship with somebody, and they really care for the person. They really forget the looks right now, whether the person may be pretty, handsome, whatever. But the bottom line is, you get into this relationship, and you start caring for this person. You care about the person that you're with. Lots of times, you care about somebody who don't care for you. You love somebody who doesn't love you back. I hate to say it, it can be a family member. You can pick your friends, but you cannot pick your family. So when you talk about relationships, it don't even got to be with a mate that you choose. You can have a family member who don't mean you no good. So if you got a family member putting all looks to the side, this is still a relationship, and they can do you messed up. Just imagine what a stranger could do, But that's the beauty of, you get to pick your friends. So when somebody don't mean you no good, no matter how they look, you cut them loose. But what happens is, people ignore all the red flags. And they date this person anyway, they stay with this person anyway, and then when a person is selfish, self-centered, they go and get a pop, or they run in the store, they come out with themselves something, They didn't even think to get you none. Then you be like, well, where's mine, or what have you? Oh, you can. They might lie and say I got this for you, or they, or whatever. But the bottom line is they might go, they get themselves something and never think to get you nothing. It might sound silly or petty, but it's still, it's just, just take a mental note of the small things. It's the small things that's the that turns the, it's the small foxes that ruin the vine. Meaning that it's the little things that add up to big things. And when I say that, it's like, this person, in the long run, you're in this relationship, this person doesn't respect you. They could be cheating on you. They're not considering you with little things, with big things, whatever it may be. And so now they done dogged you. Maybe after they done used and abused you, the sad part is, you're in a relationship with somebody, they done used and abused you, and then they got the nerve to leave you. Because you had no self-respect for yourself. You had no self-love for you. Lots of times people get bitter, and then because of this incident, or because of this person who did you wrong, now you get back out there, and now everybody else got to feel your wrath, your anger, your bitterness for what somebody else has done to you. When you feel that way, it ain't good to get into a relationship. Forget being on some pay or back type stuff, like, oh, I'm gonna get in a relationship, but now you're treating people the way this person treated you, or you're thinking that all women are dogs because the last woman you was with was cheating on you, messing around on you. You think all women's gonna mess around on you because this woman used you for your money, or she was a taker. That's what I mean by vetting somebody. See what they're about. See what their character. Get to know a person's character. Close your eyes sometimes. Look at what somebody say, how they say it. Or, discernment is so important. Vetting somebody. Get to know what they're about. I know that, it may take a while, even in a relationship, to really, really, truly get to know somebody. But I'm going to tell you something. In all reality, what lives in a man's heart is going to come out through his mouth. That's why communication is important. Lots of times you're dating somebody that you really don't know. That's really what it boils down to. All looks aside. You're dating somebody that you really, truly don't know. Because lots of times people are moving too fast. Lots of times people are thinking with their, people are thinking in a lustful way, opposed to vetting somebody for a long-term relationship, love and respect type thing. You see somebody, they're pretty, they're handsome. The first thing, I'm not going to say everybody, okay? Because I don't believe in generalizing. I'm just saying, for the sake of this video, an example. People are so in a rush that, oh yeah, they're lusting. Oh yeah, he's sharp, or yeah, she's so beautiful. Oh yeah. And what did that got to do with this person's character? Yeah, they might be okay. Because when you're thinking like that, I'm thinking that you're thinking from a lustful perspective. So you know, if that's the case, you got what you wanted. You wanted to lay down with a handsome man, or you wanted to lay down with a beautiful woman. So you got your just reward. You got what you wanted. You wanted to be able to lay with a nice looking man or woman, and that's what you got. But when you're talking about being in a long-term relationship with somebody, or being in a healthy relationship with somebody, it got to be more than that. You got to be mature enough to know that no matter what, you deserve to be in a good and healthy relationship, even for your own well-being. You know what I mean? Not being with somebody who's just misusing you, for what, because a lot of people, you got to see what is their motives. Why do you want to be in a relationship? A lot of times, why a lot of people are in relationships? Even with the wrong person, they may even know in their heart, I'm with this person until somebody better comes along. Because you'd be surprised all the people who will tolerate you. And be honest with you, some people are so deceptive that they could be with somebody knowing that they're just buying their time. They're with you until a better prospect comes along, and you will never even know it. They're going through the motions, they're doing all the right things, but they're so deceptive. But in their own mind, in the mind in which they think, they already know that you're just a temporary plaything. But they know you're calling them bae, or you're calling her bae, or whatever. Everything seems, good in the neighborhood. All seems well. Meanwhile, they're just buying their time. They know when somebody else come along, it's a done deal. It's like the new phone came out, that now this one's the old one, I'm getting the new one. Everybody running to get the newest iPhone, the newest this, the newest that. You know what I mean? And somebody, but that, so it goes both ways. But it can go both ways. But the bottom line is, you have so many people who are bitter out here because of relationships that they were in, where they were used, they weren't considered, and they was dealing with what I call a taker. Somebody who was not wasn't thinking about the me, wasn't thinking about, the we and the us. They was thinking about me, myself, and I. I'm with you because I don't want to be alone. I'm with you because you got a nice car, or I think you got something that I want, whatever it is. There's people that be with somebody just for sex. There's people who only use people for sex. They may not even want your money. I hate to say it. There could be somebody, because I've heard people say this, they could be with somebody just for sex. They might just want the person, they might think the person got a nice body, and their only thing they really did want with you was a sexual relationship. So now you're having you thinking they liking you for you, they want a long-term thing with you, meanwhile they're just using you for sex. And then, they might even be going through the motions like y'all are in a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? And men and women do this. Don't think this is a man thing. Women use men for sex all the time. And you be wondering, he may not have no money. A man does not have to have no lot of money to be able to get a woman, or to lay down with a woman. He does not have to have a lot of money. Now, he could be nice looking with a nice body, and he might even dress nice, and he still could not really have too much of nothing. You know what I mean? He could be living with a family member, or he could be, having a little job, living from paycheck to paycheck. And I'm not knocking somebody living from paycheck to paycheck, but what I'm trying to say is, a man does not have to have money to get a woman. Be honest with you, he don't even have to really be attractive. All he got to do is be able to, know what it boils down to, what men don't understand. Most women, the way a woman really falls in love with a man is not who got the best sex. It's who got her mind. You thinking about having sex with her body, where a woman needs a man to have sex with her mind. That's why a man who talks during sex, and he, and all that, he might have the ups on a man who might just want to think he's doing something, whatever that may be. But 9 times out of 10, he probably just trying to get us, he's doing it for himself. Not everybody. But for women, there's just so many variables. But the thing is, a lot of people are out here in the world dogging people out because they were dogged out, hurting other people because they were hurt, and then they're putting everybody in the same category. Whereas if you would have vetted this woman, even if you're talking about marriage, before you talking about marrying somebody, get to know them to the best that you possibly can. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you don't, time is so precious. It's like, let the time count. The time that y'all are together, let it really be quality time. Not quality time hugging and kissing and caressing and stuff like that. Let's spend time talking. Let's spend time really getting to know one another. Be together as much as you can so you can observe. A person can't really hide. People can't really hide who they truly are. Who you are is going to come out. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to show. You just got to be paying attention. And you're not looking for the worst in somebody, not at all, but you're just trying to see who this person really is to the best of your ability. You understand what I'm saying? Some people, that's fine if all you want is a pretty face, whether it be male or female. If that's all you're looking for and that's what you get, and then the person dog you, mistreat you, use you, cheat on you with your friend or whatever, I mean, you can't really blame nobody but you. You understand? You know, you can't blame nobody but yourself. But instead of being mad at yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to do better next time, because we all make mistakes, or maybe we all get fooled too. We all get fooled too. We think the person was one way, but they were so deceptive and they deceived us, and they may have gotten the best of us. If you wanted, I mean, it all depends on how you look at it. Because for me, a mistake ain't nothing but a lesson learned. You know, yeah, okay, you will never be able to beat me with the same move twice. It just ain't going to happen. I'm not going to let somebody beat me with the same move twice, because I'm going to pay attention. And the best thing to do when somebody don't mean you no good, you don't look for revenge or anything like that. You cut them off. The best thing that you could ever do for yourself, especially when you're talking about self-respect and self-worth and knowing your own true value, you're able to walk. It don't matter if it's a family, friend, or whoever else it may be. If a person don't mean you no good, you cut them off. If somebody offends you or they don't mean you no good, why are you know that saying? Keep, how does that go? I know it well, and I used to use it, but I don't use them terms anymore. But the bottom line is this: a lot of people were frenemies. I'm not old at all, but I'm saying I've been, and I didn't live a sheltered life. I'll just say that. And a lot of us have frenemies. A lot of the people close to you, whether they're in a relationship, which a relationship is a relationship, whether it's a platonic friend or somebody you're dating, a mother or father, it's all friendship. With your siblings, whatever, it's friendship. But the bottom line is, a lot of people around us, family and friends, they're frenemies, so to speak. That's why I said you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family, even though some of them could be frenemies as well. They don't always mean you no good either. But the point that I'm making here is this: when somebody don't mean you no good, cut them off, period. You gotta know when to walk. And just because you love somebody, you can love them, you can be in a relationship, and you can really be deeply in love with somebody. But if you don't get nothing, because I know I was all over the place in this video, I do apologize. But if you took the time to listen, the one thing that I really want to go home and resonate with anybody listening to this video is this: love is a beautiful thing, and we all need to be loved, and we also need to be willing to give love. One thing's for sure and two is for certain: a person cannot give you what they do not have. You can't ask me for $1 million, even if I love you to no end. You can't ask me to give you something that if I don't have it. You know what I mean? If you ask me for something that I don't have, I can't give it. That's the same with love and consideration and this, that, and the third. But when a person doesn't even consider, you can love somebody, but if they do not love you back, just because you love them, I understand we can't help. We love who we love. But don't ever love anybody. Now, I will say this. I think there is an exception, because you know what? It's an exception if it's maybe even your children. Kids can be, and when we all were kids, we're all somebody's children. Whether we're grown, whatever. We all was a kid before, but even as an adult, we're somebody's child too. And sometimes, I know people who have awesome parents, and sometimes we even take our parents for granted. I don't mean we don't love our parents, but our parents they're always there for us. We mess up, they forgive us. I mean, there's people who got really good parents. Not everybody, but there are people who their parents aren't perfect, but they love them. They still love you, whether they're imperfect or not, but they love you and would do anything. And they might even hurt you sometimes because they're human, but at the core, they love you and want the best for you. But in the same token, they can hurt you too, disappoint you too, But as far as, okay, but that's your mother or father or something. I understand that, but I'm talking about in a friendship or something, even some other family members, even parents. Sometimes you gotta just get some space from them too if they're toxic. But you still love them, but you love them from afar. You just love them from afar. If it's your family, there ain't, you just love them from afar. But it's good to forgive. Just forgive them and love them from afar, but make sure you forgive them, please. Forgiving them is so important, not just for them, but for you. It sets you free when we forgive people who have hurt us, because otherwise you're giving them all the power. You're giving somebody who hurt you all the power over you. No, no, that's not even an option. But that's something that has to be learned over time. But as far as a relationship, people get in relationships, everybody gets dogged out. Nobody is exempt. Nobody's exempt. And just because somebody's in a relationship, yeah, they might even be in a marriage, that don't mean it's a happy marriage. That don't mean that one may be getting everything they want to a certain degree, and one may not really be getting. One might be doing all the compromising. They may be getting mistreated, misused, abused. They may be there for all the wrong reasons because they don't have the strength to walk. They're thinking about what they're going to lose, where they should be thinking about all that they have to gain. Always think with an abundance mindset. Always think of that. For one, there is an unlimited supply of everything out here. God is real, and He is a source for everything under the sun. And there is no scarcity. There is nothing but abundance. You understand? Okay, even if you was a housewife and you're being abused, but my husband, I've been out the workforce for quite some time. My husband supplies all of my needs and this, that, and the third. You know what? You're not the only person that was in a bad situation who had to leave, who left or going through something. Sometimes you got to know when. I would never tell nobody to get a divorce. I don't believe in that. But if you're not married, before it gets to that point and somebody is in this, and you're in a situation where you're not getting the respect and the love and everything that you need, just walk. Just love yourself enough to just leave that situation, opposed to staying in it to the point where you're just the underdog to a certain degree. Not that you're really the underdog, but you allow yourself to become that. And then even after all of that, 9 times out of 10, the person end up leaving you before you leave them. So now you put up with all of that and they left you anyway. So now you're bitter. And now any other relationship you get in, you think that everybody is like that person that you had. Not everybody is that person. What you should do is, that relationship should make you better. You know all the things not to do. You know the red flags from that other situation, but don't come and throw that garbage and baggage onto the next person. Don't put everybody in the same category, and that is the problem. When something bad happens to you, it will either make you better or it will make you bitter. The people who are bitter. They always talk about that past relationship. That person's name is always in their mouth. It's like you just ever have a friend and all they're talking about is he did this or he did that. Not to be ignorant, because I shouldn't have said this, but I listen. But after a while, you just get tired of hearing it. No disrespect, but you just get tired of hearing that. This person did this. Now all men are dogs and this and that. That is not true. You understand what I'm saying? It was the person that you chose. And now everybody else got to pay for the bad choice that you made. You can't even blame that person. When you seen that person didn't mean you no good, you should have cut them loose. And we've all been there. So I'm not exempt. Come on, we all been there, but we live and we learn. But don't put everybody in the same category, because when you do that, you're not just the one you're really hurting is yourself. You're not trusting of anybody. You feel like everybody's out to get you. Every woman is a whore. Every man is a dog. Just because of what this person has done to you, you're putting that over into every relationship you come in. You're bringing that baggage into every relationship that you're in. We got to stop that. Not all women, and let me tell you something. I have to say this. You might have, this is for the men, men and women. You may have somebody that maybe they're not a 10. They might be a 7. They might be a 7 as far as the eye. But they may be kind. They may be considerate. They may be thoughtful. They may be very smart. And when I say smart, I'm talking about a lot of common sense. There's somebody that, if you got something going on, They may have good sense where they may be an asset to you in that way. Also, they may be very encouraging, very edifying, very uplifting, where they're telling you, babe, they believe in you. Babe, you might have an idea, you want to become an entrepreneur, and they're your biggest cheerleader, and they really want you to succeed. And they're like, well, babe, what can I do to help you? Well, I can do this. They may not be able to do everything, but maybe they're good. Maybe they're good with Word and Excel, and they might be able to type up some things for you, or do some correspondence for you, or I mean, there's something that they may be. They may be real good with the computer, or it could be anything. They may know how to do, like, I know people who know how to do real good proposals. You know what I mean? I just know how to. I know people know how to do a lot of things, but what I'm trying to say is, they're bringing something to the table. When you say, well, what is somebody bringing to the table? There's a lot people can bring to the table. There's knowledge that can be brought to the table. There's love that can be brought to the table. There's thoughtfulness, consideration. There's just at the core, somebody that you can trust. That is important. To have somebody on your team, to have a mate, a friend that you can really trust. Now that is something special, because that is something that's needed. The first layer of any real relationship, any relationship worth being in, should be based on trust. So if you got somebody you can trust, even though she might be a 7 instead of a 10, but she's trustworthy, hands down, for me, a man I can trust who's a 6 or a 7, a man who's a 10 who ain't nothing but a shell, he can't hold a candle to him. He can't hold me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, money don't make the man. Man makes the money. Money don't make the man. That's just like nothing outweighs. If you put it on a balance or on a scale, nothing outweighs integrity. Nothing outweighs character. Nothing. Not your looks, not your money. All the money, you can have money and still be nothing. As far as not having everybody is somebody, so I don't want to say that. But what I mean is, you can have money and still not have character. You can have money and still not have integrity. Having money alone, what is that? You can hold $1, but it can't hold you back. You can buy friends. People will be around you because you got something. That don't mean they really love you. You're being used. They'll use you. Yeah, they'll use you up. And when you stop giving, they'll be gone with the wind. So, nobody wants to be used, and nobody deserves to be used or spitefully used or mistreated or abused. Nobody deserves that. That's why we got to pick and choose who we have in our circle, and it's good to keep your circle small. It's better to have, have a few people, even if it's only 2 or 3 that really care about you, have them in your circle, opposed to having a multitude of people who really just there to see what they can get. A bunch of users. You don't need that. And if you had any self-worth and any self-love, you would know that. But if you don't, I'm here to let you know. But we have to stop lumping everybody in the same category. We got to stop thinking because one person mistreated us that everybody's going to mistreat us. Because one woman dogged you out don't mean that you go out and dog out every other woman that you meet thereafter. Come on, we got to stop that. And we got to stop. Everybody is valuable. We need to know that everybody is valuable. How dare you say, well, what somebody's worth or isn't worth? Because we are all, think about it. We are all valuable. We are all somebody. We all got gifts and talents. We all bring something to the table. Some of us have a lot of same similarities, and some of us have some different ones. But at the core, we are all unique individuals. We all have something to give. We're all bringing something. And the bottom line is this. The one where it didn't work out was just the bottom line is that person just was not the one for you. That's all. There is somebody for everybody. And that person, the reason why it didn't work out is because that person was not the one for you. That same person who dogged you out will go and be with the other man and treat him like a king. She'll treat the man who's meant for her or supposed to be with her like a king, or the one she wants, the way you wanted her, won't want her back and will treat her the same way she treated you. It's just a vicious cycle. Every man will reap what he sows. So no need to be mad, no need to be vengeful, no need to be vindictive, because every man will fall on his own sword. What you put out is what you shall receive. It's just the law, universal law, and it is what it is. So there's no need to be hostile. There's no need to hold a grudge. When you seen the person wasn't meaning you no good from the gate, you should have cut them off. Male or female, you should have cut them off. And because you didn't, and they misused you and abused you in so many ways, now you mad at the world. You mad at all these women, and all women as dogs, and they don't deserve nothing. We got to stop that. What you got to do is self-reflect. What could I have done differently in this situation? What could I have done differently? And what happens is we really lay our head on our pillow, or when we in the shower, because thoughts come to our minds at all times. But sometimes when you're taking a bath, or you're in the shower, or you're driving in your car or whatever, or it's quiet, you just be, now thoughts come in your head, and you really think, you see the red flags, or you think back. Everything is always in hindsight. Like that. Looking back, you see where this, and this, and I should have did it this way. So it's a lesson learned. No big deal. Even though it may have hurt, but it was a learning experience, and you learn from it, and you move forward, and you know that your best days are out in front of you. You know that the right one for you, they're still out there. But don't just write everybody off because of a couple bad apples. Don't write everybody off because of that. And there are very good women and men out here. If people can get past just the superficial, get past just looks only, or women get past, everybody's not a gold digger. That's a lie. That's a lie. Everybody is not a gold digger. There are a lot of women who are doing way better than the men financially, than the men that they're with, and they've been together for years. And there's women who take care of men, just like there's men who take care of women. People might think, well, wow, she got so much going for her and she's with him. He may not be unattractive, but he may not have no money, may not have a lot of money, and people are so superficial. He may not have a lot of money, but there might be other things that she needs that he's providing. It might be the way he makes her feel, maybe, and maybe they do the same for each other. Maybe, everybody's not going to be a millionaire. Everybody's not going to make a six-figure salary. Maybe this person's best is at 45,000 a year, unless they change their, change the way they think. Because there's no limit. Like I said, there's an abundance of everything. It's just all in what you think. That's why we got to feed each other. You know what I mean? Uplift one another. But I'm going to end this video. I want the best for everybody. Remember, put yourself first. Love self. If somebody don't mean you no good, cut them loose. Until next time, put yourself first but at the same time, consider others, but also consider you. That's all I'm saying. Don't be the abuser. Don't be the offender. Don't be out here, breaking hearts and things like that. That's not the goal. The goal is to have a loving and a good, healthy relationship with somebody who wants to have a good and healthy relationship with you, where it's mutual respect for one another. And until next time.